4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, November 13th, 2020. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, Troy University's Montgomery campus is working on a way to centralize student support and was recently helped in their efforts with a grant from the federal government. Kenrietta Osborne has the details from a Montgomery News Bureau.
The Troy Montgomery campus was recently awarded a $2 million grant to help create a central environment of support for student success.
The idea behind it is to have the full support team available to the students right in that one centralized area.
The grant will help build a new and more spacious area for all Troy students.
What we hope to gain is a centralized, inviting space for students to come and receive whatever services they need to support their academic endeavors.
Dr. Everhart says that she hopes the center is received by all the students because it was made with their needs in mind.
We are building this with students in mind, and so my hope is that every student within a reasonable geographical distance will come check out what we built.
The Troy Montgomery campus is building a center for student success that is now inside of Whitley Hall. They will soon be moving into a more spacious building in the Rosa Parks Museum. Since the new Student Success Center will be inside of the Rosa Parks Museum, everyone is ready to see the finished product.
I'm really excited to see what the finished product looks like, and it's a lot of work, and I know that there's been a lot of work that's gone into it, and I'm thankful to be a part of it.
In Montgomery, Kenrietta Osborne, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy's International Arts Center has a new exhibit that showcases an international side, as a new collection of Vietnamese art is on display in the center. Kenrietta Stinson gives us a look.
Faces of Vietnam is one of the latest collections added to Troy University's International Arts Center, and this artwork is curated by Stephen Humphrey. His travels through Vietnam allowed him to accumulate numerous paintings rising from the post-reform era in the 90s.
The reform movement in Vietnam was so important. It was 15 years after the war ended, and so the country was lifting its restrictions, at least economically, and so the artists really took that momentum of wanting to have freedom of expression, just the artistic liberty to show all of their emotions.
The featured artists incorporate traditional and modern aspects of their historical and cultural backgrounds. According to Jackson, in the Vietnamese culture, the face is seen as the most essential aspect of a person.
This particular work is by an artist named Than, and it's an example of a unique Vietnamese process using this handmade paper. And his artwork is all of our marketing, because we just found that it really captured this energy of identity and the faces being so important.
Jackson explains that there is a connection to art in all areas of study.
This particular exhibit, I feel it has a very strong connection to many of other areas of study. You have history, art history, political science, international relations, and it's so important for us at the National Arts Center to find ways to connect to our other students.
This exhibit will be on display until January 24, 2021. Kenrietta Stinson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Navigating the Trojan Center this semester has been difficult at times due to renovations taking place in the building. And while the project is not expected to be completed till the spring, there's already a few new additions that are giving student areas a new look. Once again, here's Kenrietta Stinson.
A new refreshing look is coming to Troy University's Trojan Center. Students will now be able to get a better sense of the college experience through the new renovations.
This is one of our oldest buildings that has not been renovated on campus. So we wanted to make sure that we focus on kind of restoring the building, bringing some life to it for our student body.
The Student Involvement Office and the Trojan Center ballrooms will be completely remodeled. Williams says that renovations will make students feel more comfortable.
We've also added a lot of wall decor to the building as well. To kind of, when students come in, we want them to feel at home, want them to feel like they have an input here, and that we care about them.
The construction in the Trojan Center has been in the works since this summer. So we took to campus to see how students feel about the new renovations.
The renovations here are actually really exciting. After this being my first semester here, I see a lot of different things going on. And I love how they incorporated student murals like all over the building. And especially me being a theater major, this is my home. We all have classes here, performances here. So it's something that we always see. And I love the fact they incorporated a bunch of ethnicities, a lot of different organizations. It's very beautiful, and it's just great to see a sign of unity during this hard time.
I'm excited to see all the new things they put in. Most of my classes are in TC, so it's been interesting trying to get around the construction. But you know, I'm a freshman, so I'm not too familiar with how it used to look. But I'm excited to be the class that gets the fresh air and the new stuff. I'm just really excited to see how it goes.
We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll see how the Sound of the South is adapting to not being able to march on game day this season. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
For some students, learning from experience is the best way to prepare them for future jobs. Physical education and health education majors have had the opportunity to gain some practical experience this semester by teaching homeschool children physical education without leaving campus. Allison Polk shows us how.
The quad is a place for students to hang out and relax, but on Fridays it's a playground for homeschooled children. Homeschool students from all over Troy visit Troy University every Friday to get 50 minutes of PE time from physical education and health education students. This project started when students were having a hard time finding schools to go into for the required observation hours. Seeing her students struggle, lecturer Lana Johnson came up with a solution.
We had some parents in our church that homeschooled their children, so I asked, well, can we borrow your kids for a minute and give my students a chance to actually teach? And it blossomed from there, and then word got out, and then more parents started calling me. Last semester we had 71 children enrolled from K through 12, and so that's where all this started. And so now my students have a chance to do a lesson plan, to prepare, and to be able to teach 3 different age groups for 50 whole minutes.
Not only is this a good opportunity for health education and physical education majors, it also provides a community for everyone who attends.
It's given him a chance to meet new people. Even if he made new friends at school, the school we were going to send him to originally, he would already know a lot of the kids, and so it's nice to meet other kids in the community that he might not have had a chance to meet otherwise. And it just gives an opportunity for the college students, I like, because they can prepare for their future ahead. They can kind of see what it's like in the classroom without being in the confines of a school. They get a little more freedom.
This week's PE was a collaboration with the art department, who helped draw the chalk obstacle courses on the sidewalk. Next semester, the physical education department plans to collaborate with the dance department to start a dance class for the children. Allison Polk, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The coronavirus has changed a lot of aspects of our daily lives, and one place Troy has seen some big changes is to the game day experience. A major change to game day is the fact that Troy's marching band, the Sound of the South, can't march this year. Tativunna Connor takes a look at how the band prepares each week for what's become the new normal this season.
COVID-19 as a pandemic has basically had an effect on everything, from schools, stores, restaurants, and now even halftime shows.
Due to COVID, we've had to socially distance all of our practices on the band field and in the stadium. We're always 5 to 6 feet apart from each other, and during our concert arcs and everything like that, and our full band, we're always socially distanced no matter what.
Troy University's Sound of the South has experienced a new meaning of marching band by not being able to march. With Governor Kay Ivey's safer-at-home order, there's a lot of new rules that has to go into place.
Not being able to march kind of sucks a little bit, but I think it's a great opportunity for the band to let us focus on our musical abilities and really hone in on being able to play some really awesome music for everyone to listen to.
Since the band is not able to march, game performances and practices all take place right here in these stands, still with the 6-foot rule in place and every member with a face covering on.
I don't know if we're going to be able to march by the end of the season. I'd really love it if we'd be able to, but we're already halfway through the semester, and we usually learned our drill and places on the field at the beginning of the semester, so I don't think it's likely, sadly.
I'm sure we're all hoping COVID ends right here in 2020. Then marching bands can start back marching. Tativunna, Troy, TrojanVision News.
During the coronavirus lockdown earlier this year, many public venues had to close down due to state restrictions. That included places like art museums. Now, many of those venues are starting to reopen, including the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts. Sam Granville gives us a look at how the museum is making the adjustment in the world of COVID in a report from our Montgomery News Bureau.
The Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts has provided compelling experiences centered on human creativity for generations. However, when the global coronavirus pandemic struck, the museum was forced to close its doors back in March. But after a 7-month hiatus, the MMFA has finally been reopened to the public, adapting to the new era of COVID-19.
We're so happy that we've been able to reopen to the public, and we have put a number of safeguards in place. Of course, all the staff always wears masks. We have our temperature taken when we come into the building. We encourage our visitors to wear masks if they are 6 years or older. There are sanitizing stations around the museum, and we have set up our galleries in a way that people can visit and see the artwork and still remain socially distanced.
Proper social distancing and mask mandates allowed for the museum to reopen back in mid-October. However, if you're still concerned about going inside the museum, there are alternative options.
2018, we opened up the John and Joyce Cadell Sculpture Garden, and we were thrilled to do so. It had been a many-year endeavor to get it open, and we have really thinking about this space as an extension of our galleries inside. And it's another way to be outside if you don't feel comfortable coming into the museum yet and you want to remain even more socially distant.
The newly reopened Museum of Fine Arts is available to the public 6 days a week, and admission is free for all ages. In Montgomery, Sam Granville, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll see how the Trojan volleyball team wrapped up their home schedule in Trojan Arena. That's coming up right after this, so stay tuned.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
For over 70 years, Smokey Bear has asked you to use fire responsibly.
Fire is due to an unattended campfire. Go time.
Here's how you can stay on the front lines of preventing wildfires. Always watch your campfire. Before leaving, drown it, stir it, drown it again, and feel that the fire is out cold.
Oh, bullseye!
And you won't need a visit from these guys.
Copy that.
You can be Smokey's wingman when enjoying nature and prevent wildfires. Visit SmokeyBear.com for more fire prevention tips.
The Trojan volleyball team wrapped up their home schedule with a 3-match series against Appalachian State that started off with a win last Friday morning. Stuart Bradley has the highlights from the first match of that series.
There was a plethora of things going down in Trojan Arena Friday morning as the Trojan volleyball team were locked in a competitive bout with Appalachian State. After a fairly close first set, Amara Anderson became the 6th Trojan to join the 3,000 assist club as her longtime teammate Halston Hillier spiked Troy's 14th point of the second set onto the hardwood.
It feels really good. It feels really good that Halston was my 3,000th because we've been playing together for so long, so it was really exciting.
I think she diversifies our offense really well and spreads it out, and it allows for our team to be really successful, and she's also really scrappy defensively and everything else too.
This is not the beginning or the end, you know, this is her continuing what is going to be, you know, a continued tremendous career, and she's going to leave a great legacy here, you know, and when you work hard and you treat people the right way and you do things the right way, good things happen, and that's what's happening with Amara.
After falling in the second set, the Trojans bounced back in the third set, picking up some big kills from freshman Tori Hester, who notched a career-high 16 kills on the match. Meanwhile, Lacey Jeffcoat helped anchor the Trojan defense, finishing with 21 digs. The fourth set became a dogfight, with the lead constantly going back and forth and neither side managing to net that final point. With a 36-35 Trojan lead, it would be Amara Anderson who would notch that final point, earning Troy a 37-35 set victory and a 3-1 match win.
It's really a team effort, right? Like, Amara goes out and has a great match. Lacey goes out and has, you know, 21 digs. Julia hits, you know, over 300 again. Halston's really clutch. You know, at the end, Cece gets a big block late in the match. So, you know, we're our best when everyone is contributing, and that's what we saw, you know, to win that last set.
The Trojans have only a short time to prepare, as their second game in their series against Appalachian State is at 6 o'clock Friday night. Stuart Bradley, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
And the team closed out their home schedule with a sweep of App State in Game 3 of that series on Saturday afternoon. Jessica Phillips has the highlights from the final match.
The Trojan volleyball team remains undefeated at home after winning a 4-set match over App State on Saturday. In the first set, the Mountaineers trailed the Trojans up until they took a 4-0 run to take a late 20-19 lead over the Trojans. But Halston Hillier, 5th kill of the set, helped the Trojans out to win in set 1.
She is one of the most consistent, intuitive players in practice. She's really, really trying to grow her game, and she gets outside of her comfort zone a lot so she can get better. It's not surprising though, you know, when you work that hard and you dedicate your time and effort to your craft, you're gonna get better. And you know, Halston can do anything she sets her mind to, and it's fun to see it paying off for her.
In set 2, the Trojans could not close the gap as App State took an early 8-3 lead. Julia Brooks tries to help the Trojans bounce back with back-to-back kills, but the Mountaineers just continued to extend their lead to end the set 25-17. The Trojans came in, dominated set 3 with 2 aces from Natalie Hummel as she pushed the Trojans' lead to 17-10. Troy posted 4 aces and secured a set 3 victory.
We take a lot of pride in the way we play, you know, and there's a lot of belief when we step on this court, you know, with our fans. And it truly is a great competitive family atmosphere, and we've worked hard to create that, and we're just really, really appreciative and thankful that, you know, we've created one of the toughest volleyball venues to play in the country in Trojan Arena.
And the Trojans came and wrapped things up in set 4 by taking advantage of a 21-15 lead. Tori Hester registered 2 consecutive kills to clinch the match for the Trojans. The Trojans finished their home schedule on Saturday and will travel to Statesboro to finish out regular season play.
I think both teams are going to be ready and, you know, prepared to feel each other out. It's a quick turnaround, you know. It's a Thursday, Friday match. So, you know, the biggest thing for us is we gotta get back in the gym, tighten up a couple things that we see from this weekend, get our scout done, and prepare for the different, you know, type of opponent that Georgia Southern is.
Jessica Phillips, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
In order for Troy University student athletes to stay eligible to play, they have to follow guidelines set by the NCAA. And a person at Troy that takes care of making sure that students stay compliant is someone who knows what it's like to be in the shoes of a student athlete. Carlton Marshall has more.
Director of Compliance Leah Brundage is well known for her softball background,
and the relationships she made from softball have really made her make a good change to an office setting.
It was one that I had to adjust to. Thankfully, during my time as being a student athlete, I was involved in the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, which is SAC, and so through that, I was kind of forming some relationships with some of the administrators and some of the coaches, so that helped with my transition.
Even though she is more comfortable with her office lifestyle now, she still has that deep love and passion for the game she started with, Troy softball.
So I still support the softball team, as much as my schedule allows, of course, but I try to make, if not all, but the majority of the home games that I can. When they do play away that's within a driving distance, or if I get an opportunity to travel with the team, I take advantage of that. So still go out there from time to time. Sometimes I may stop in and out of practice, or if I see the girls around campus, I always try to keep that relationship, just because obviously softball is near and dear to my heart.
And being an athlete here at Troy, Leah Brundage has a deep passion for the softball team. However, she does not feel that she needs to get back on that field.
It was tough those 4 years getting through it, but I'll always be appreciative for softball. I don't know if the passion is still there for me to want to just desire to play it ever again, but I do still enjoy watching it. I like, the game has grown and developed over the years. So just as a softball fan, that makes me happy to see that, younger kids have more opportunities and great opportunities than I did growing up. So that's always great to watch.
With the Trojans softball season starting in the next few months, you can believe you'll see Leah Brundage in the bleachers cheering them on. Carlton Marshall, TrojanVision News.
It's time for our last break, and when we return, we'll learn how the reigning Sunbelt women's basketball champs are getting ready to defend their title. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
The Trojan women's basketball team is getting ready to defend their Sun Belt championship. We'll get a preview of their season from head coach Chandler Rigby in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is the head coach of the defending Sun Belt champion Trojan women's basketball team, Chandler Rigby. Chanda, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you. It's so good to be back here at TrojanVision.
And defending Sun Belt champs. We're going to go back in time a little bit. The crazy whirlwind that was your championship season and the championship awarding, because regular season and the tournament disappeared and all that and got swept up at the first part of COVID, but obviously couldn't take away just an amazing season that you all had last year. So.
Right. Thank you. And it's really strange. I feel like it's been a long time since that happened. A lot has happened since then. But yes, it's just a strange ending to the year. We were at Arkansas State, and we thought that if we won that game that we might be co-champs with Coastal Carolina, but their in-state rival App beat them. And we realized that right before we went on the floor to play Arkansas State, and we were fortunate enough to come out with that game with a win as alone champions. So that was strange enough within itself, but then get back, and we had the best practice probably ever right before we were about to load the bus to go to the Sun Belt tournament, when Sandy Atkins came in and told us that there would not be a Sun Belt tournament.
So you got to avoid the tournament, so you had to run the gauntlet to get it. You were named champions by courtesy of winning the regular season, which was great. Returning back to the championship ways. I know that's something that you've always strived for this program is champions, and you've had a history of championships here. So having another one this past year, I know it's got to make you feel good.
It's just great. That's the third championship we've won in 5 years, so we are definitely blessed. And I think kind of all that chaos, the way I'm spinning it, all that chaos we kind of were in there at the end, kind of set us up for this year. Nobody knew what was going to happen with all this, with COVID and things like that. But really, to me, it's the coach and the staff and the team that can pivot the most throughout this COVID, find creative ways to stay healthy and to continue to improve throughout this and not let the distractions seep in and get your mind on the wrong things. I think those teams are going to come out ahead here in this season.
And that championship team, we've got to talk about the fact that you lost a lot of talent from that team to this year. There's still some returning players that had a lot of quality time on the court, but you lost a lot of production from that last year's team. So how are you going to make up for that? Well,
we lost 5 great players from last year's team. Some are even playing professionally overseas right now. They were just a great group. But the cupboards are not bare. We have 7 seniors this year. A couple of them were sitting out last year, so the Trojans didn't get to see them play per transfer rules and things like that. But some you did get to see, and you know, if you follow Trojan women's basketball, the cupboards are not bare. We lost a lot, but we're excited about the group we have.
And one of the things we talked about COVID there, COVID has kind of changed the way things are going this year.
Yes.
And for the schedule, the conference schedule, major change. It may be one of the biggest changes I've seen in a scheduling. Volleyball had to play 3-game series this season, but for you guys, you're playing back-to-back nights for conference games on the road this year.
Right. So we've never done that before. Yeah. And so they divided the Sun Belt in East and West. That hasn't happened at least since I've been here. And so we're going to play everybody in the East 4 times. Well, except our in-state, South Alabama, we'll play them twice. But the Georgia teams and then App and Coastal, we'll play them 4 times. And you go, let's say you go out to App, whereas normally you'd play App on a Thursday and Coastal on a Saturday, we're going to play App Friday, Saturday. And then Coastal will come here and play us Friday, Saturday. So it's back-to-back. That changes a little bit in our patterns because, as you know, we're a running team. Our legs are very important to get our legs rested for the next game. But, again, we're going to put a spin, everything positive for Troy, and we're going to also say that affects the other teams because we're deep. We play a lot of players, so hopefully the advantage will go to the Trojans.
Well, I know, and those were the 2 things in my mind was your speed but depth. And those are the 2 things I would think for a Chandler Rigby Trojan basketball team. It's both sides of the coin there. You got to worry about the speed, but you play plenty of players in any given game, so you can be rested up.
Yeah, so that's the way we're looking at it. You know, we are doing a little more intensive conditioning. We've always conditioned a lot, but just selling our players, not only because of that fact, but also because of, you know, the threat of being sick or catching the virus. The league says that as long as we have 7 players that are healthy, that are not in protocol for COVID, that we will play the game. Okay. So we could be playing a Friday and Saturday with only 7 players. You could do that in a worst case scenario. And so like we tell them, this is a true testament to the weakest link is what could break your team, because we don't know if that would be our 5 freshmen and 2 other transfers, new players. It could be 7 new players that we need to really go out and play well enough to win a championship on any given night.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, new event this year, something to talk about, tip-off banquet for basketball, for the men's and women's basketball teams, an opportunity for fans to get up close and personal, or as up close you can nowadays, with the basketball team to get things started.
We're so excited about this event. I'm so glad you brought it up. Our athletic director, Brent Jones, is always pivoting, trying to think of ways to get ahead in maybe situations where we don't want to lag behind. And as everybody knows, we've taken some hits financially. Everybody has through COVID. And so he was trying to find ways to not only get our basketball teams out there and in front of the fans, but also just to make some extra money to put in the budgets. And so he came up with a tip-off banquet. And it'll be on November 30th, a Friday night at 7 p.m. And, you know, you can go to TroyTrojans.com/tip-off, purchase your tickets. It's going to be a nice dinner. We're going to have a silent auction, giveaways. The coaches are going to speak. The players are going to be there. A nice interaction with the fans and with the players and the teams. And we're very excited. This first annual, we hope we're about halfway to our goal of selling tickets. So if you do not have your ticket yet, I hope you'll go on TroyTrojans.com/tip-off and go ahead and purchase your ticket.
Well, here's hoping folks take advantage of that and take advantage of checking out the Trojans this year in Trojan Arena. So I want to thank you for joining us and good luck and picking up ring 2 in a row this year.
Yes, thank you and go Trojans.
Go Trojans. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what the week that was. To find out what's happening on a daily basis, you can tune into TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday, or follow us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy TrojanVision News fan page on Facebook to see online content from Troy TrojanVision News. Until next time, have a good week.